Hi, friends. Welcome. It is Lisa Dawn Lajwa. Welcome to From Misfit to Mystic, the podcast of all podcasts. This show is about entrepreneurship, sacred conversations about wealth and health and happiness and atonement and spirituality and growth and development and being that mystical person. This show highlights entrepreneurs, empaths, nonconformists, mavericks who have never felt like they fit in the world. Never felt like they fit in the world, and how they have risen and become incredible, enlightened, and illuminated beings. I want to tell you through my own personal story of physical, mental, and sexual abuse and life-changing experiences that probably could have left me for dead a bunch of times. I know when the Spirit speaks, you must listen with your full heart. Spirit is what brought me from the brink of emotional and spiritual bankruptcy and near death to the summit of spirituality, to my heart thriving and growing and expanding, back to self-love, back to awakening the spirit that was almost disconnected inside me, and into loving healing. The purpose of the show is to encourage and inspire those who are feeling unworthy, lost, and unsure of what they're all about and who they're meant to be. Inspiring you with stories of real people who have gone through the process and come up into the light of the other side. And on the other side, this show is to help you illuminate in a couple of inappropriate ways. My friends have tagged me as the inappropriate luminary, which is not surprising because I'm, pretty much that. And this show is really to support you in finding your true essence of self and who you really are absolutely supposed to rise into being. I want to support you. I want you to rise as a maverick, and I want you to understand your mysticism and become enlightened and grow into all that you are truly and absolutely supposed to be in this life and in this world. We use that term a lot in this day and age, what you're supposed to be. And, for me, it's a very important point of view. What you're supposed to be is really not the right description of what I'm talking about personally. What I'm talking about personally is who your soul actually is attuned with and why your soul chose you, so that you can experience the full and absolute expansion of consciousness when the soul and you as a person understand why your soul chose you to rise into all that it wants to be in this world. As a human being, we can do and spread as wide and as far as we would like. We are born to increase our potential. We are capable of unbelievable things. We have the opportunity to become more and more and more each day, and we can step into being fully and completely connected to our spiritual atonement, our spiritual drive, what we're here to do. And we can also just have a really good time as a human being and go and surpass all our growth and just enjoy our time here. There are no limitations. We have often these conversations in some of the groups that I work with and some of the coaching that I do, the spiritual attunement coaching and the rising in consciousness coaching. And sometimes they ask actually, not sometimes, they ask a lot. Tell me about what is my soul purpose and what is that all about, Lisa? Personally, I know this is a very important question for many of you even listening today. You want to know what this is all about. You want to know how you can rise into that soul purpose individual, that driven and expanded consciousness being that you are. And, so the real answer is your soul chose you to rise, chose you to expand, chose you to deliver the goods of this life experience. Your soul wants you to step in and lean into possibility. We really are enlightened beings having a spiritual experience. These are common terminologies that lots of spiritual people use. But the true goal is to understand the love and devotion that happened when your soul and you morphed in the womb, when you were chosen as a physical being with those experiences that were possible in your path from your parents and your place in this earth, and what you are here doing, what your parents were doing before you, and the legacy that holds the container in this earth life for your soul to come here and experience all the growth that it has planned, all the plans that it has created, and wants to fulfill so that it can expand into the lessons and learning and the curves of this life experience and the evolutionary process of being that lightened being that you are truly meant to be. You know, enlightened being is a very interesting word. Enlightenment is a very interesting word. And I'll tell you why. Enlightenment is really about lightening up. It's about understanding this place is the contrast of earth. It is a place to play. It is a place for the soul to come here, but you're so much more than just your body. So many of us are caught in that. So many people are caught in this idea that your body is what is the full reality. And we are lost in that process of not totally and fully understanding there's so much more to you than just your body. There is the cells of your being. There is your conscious vibration. There is the elements of all that you are sitting, breathing, and fluidly intertwining and entangling together with that body, that mind, that being that you are. There's so much more to you. And enlightenment is the awareness of all the moving parts to who you are, your mind, your body, your beliefs, your personal life experiences, how you move through things, what your natural courage is, what your natural confidence is, what you are, what you're born with, you know, what your parents left you, the DNA legacy in your system, the moving parts of your soul passage, the matrix in your energetic field, the interdancing that's happening with who you are, the intertwining, the unraveling, the movement, the fluid expression through this dance of your soul and your body in this life and in the universal connection is absolutely magnificent. It's one of the reasons I do this work, to be able to express to people and show them that you are dancing every day. You're experiencing so much more than you ever probably connected to. Maybe you don't realize how much possibility there is for you, how much drive you have inside that's beyond you as a person, how much focus you can get and clarity you can get from the divine essence of your own energetic matrix, your own consciousness, your own divine self, your own enlightened higher heart, your higher mind. Your ability is so wide. It's spread so wide for you to become that person, to rise. So your soul chose you because of your potential. Your soul chose you because of who you are to it. Your soul chose you as a person because you could fulfill a destination, a destiny. You have a job. You have this absolute experience of possibility. You have an absolute experience of conscious co-creation, of being cosmic in this climate down here we call Earth. You have the possibility of being more than what you are every single day, all the way through every single way. You have the possibility of rising, of becoming, of showcasing all that you are and even more, so that other people can rise and feel themselves connected to all that we are. The interesting thing for me is this. We come here, we're born, we live in this planet. It's so interesting how we are on this planet because we're always unraveling. We reject the natural life rhythms, many of us do, and it's becoming part of our social world to reject the life path of Earth, the path of nature, and that it has patterns, it has possibilities, it has creativity, it has creation in it. We act like that's not really relevant. What's the most important thing is our minds. And it's not true. You know, we are co-creative beings on the earth plane. We are creative beings on the spiritual plane. And the most magnificent thing about being a human being is that you get to live in both worlds on this planet, and you get to expose yourself in any way you want. You get to support the currents of nature. You get to become a part of what we make happen here. Every single one of us creates in this place. And as global citizens, together we are formulating and formatting what's happening here with the earth. The thing we have to remember, and we seem to keep forgetting, is Mother Earth has a mind of her own. And Mother Earth and the universe are collaborating together. We are united. We are one with this galactic opportunity and this expansion and opportunity here to pull the collective consciousness from the universe and express it out in nature in a very positive and wonderful and expanded way. You know, this is what enlightenment is: bringing light into all the experiences of life, bringing love, bringing energy, bringing possibility into all that we are. So here we go. You know, we have the chance to co-create, to get conscious, to become unstoppable as human beings, to bring down and pull up the creative potential of Mother Earth and the universe and express it inside of our everyday lives. There's some people that are doing phenomenal jobs at expressing that experience of Earth and universe together and expressing all that they are out into the world. And there's a variety of people that are very successful in this way. You could see them, and it's not even about the money. It's not even about their success. It's about the fulfillment of a destiny. It's about the fulfillment of that soul purpose. And you could tell a person that's truly in their soul purpose, because it doesn't matter what they have, because in their beingness, you can tell they're full. They're full, they're happy, they're fulfilled. They know that they're doing exactly what they're meant to do. So this entire show was birthed out of this place of me wanting to help people understand that whatever's holding them back from rising and expressing and experiencing their conscious co-creative ability as human beings who've been chosen by a soul that comes from the universe that is trying to express itself here. That is the reason I did this show. I want to talk to people who have understood those two potentials of what we are here for and who we are coming together and creating an explosive energy on this planet and collaborating together. We are the unit, our being is the unit that expresses the conscious experience of soul and of universe and the physical reality of Mother Earth's creative potential and her contrast. Mother Earth has contrast. So do human beings. We're built in layers of darkness and light, of dense matter, etheric matter, and mind matter. And it's, you know, these are realities that we get to play in. This is where we dance. This is where we morph. This is where we create. This is where we transcend, and this is where we transform and show the magnificence of all that we are. So the role that I have and that I feel is really important is to help people tap into their unstoppable consciousness, to help you understand what that means, to help people rise and become so clear about their own conscious reality and potential as living, breathing beings universally and divinely, and living, breathing beings as human matter on this earth. It's important for all of you to understand my point and my reason that are listening, because I believe in you. I believe in humanity, and I want to show us all people who have done that already and show you them as examples and teach everything that I possibly can that I've been shown as a direct channel with the universe and working with people for over 2 decades, energetically and spiritually and intuitively, to help you understand by tuning into those two realities and morphing yourself into the awareness of your growth and morphing the two parts of you together so you take your transcendence and transformation seriously and know that the truth will set you free in them, and know that you can rise into all that you are. And all that you are meaning all the layers that I just talked about. Every single part of you coming together and spreading yourself out into the world and spreading yourself out into the universe so that we expand the consciousness and create what it is that we truly want to have. You know, it's so funny because, you know, I get challenged and asked this question. I think it's a really great question for you guys to think about too. Is greed really what we want to have? Is destruction really what we want to have? How did we get to this place where that's become the priority, where power over others is more important than abundance for all? How do we end here? How do we get here? You know, my personal opinion is it comes from the reality that people are really tuned into physical truth. And physical truth, our instincts, they really are about survival. So survival can create a sense of greed or taking or grabbing or wanting for ourselves, irregardless of the consequence to another life, another being. And I think that grew in the wrong way over the course of the time that we've been on this planet, for the thousands and thousands of years that we've been here. We've misunderstood our instincts, and we've misunderstood the enlightened and transcendent possibility, the quantum reality of what we are, of what we can step into, the truth of that, the truth of your possibilities, the truth of my possibilities. We are so much more than greed. We are so much more than our instincts. We are so much more than the animal kingdom that is just here to survive. And it's so funny because I always teach this reality. Hey, if you look at nature and you look at all the animals in nature and you put them all together, you're going to see that animals have different qualities and characters, and human beings have most of them on all different levels, in all different ways. We have instincts, we have intelligence, we have giving and love, we have possibilities, we have brains that are huge and small, tuned in, tapped in, expansive and non-expansive, just like the animal kingdom. We have instincts of leadership. We have instincts that are natural born courage. We have instincts of communication, of sharing, of one love, of 10 loves. We have so many parts of us that are represented in the animal kingdom. You know, why did we choose here to come and morph and become? Because the possibility of seeing ourselves through the eyes of the earth and all the layers of it, and all the creative potential, and all the contrasts, and the colors, and the fibers, and the textures, and the natural creation that is evident to us. We use nature as our example for what we build. You know, planes came from somebody looking at a bird, you know, watching birds fly. Humanity said, wow, we should be able to fly too. But we didn't have the natural elements to allow us to do that. So we created it with our mind and manifested it and built it and mimicked what we saw in front of us. So as earthly beings, we're here and we're exposed to all our possibilities. We're exposed to the potentiality of what we can actually accomplish ourselves. The problem that we're having is our mind is not clearly understanding the conscious part of who we are, the spiritual and divine essence of what we are. We got caught too much in our instincts. We're too caught up in the wrong way of focusing, not being, because I think some people are naturally going to want to take and have more for themselves. It's how they're taking that's the problem. The greed is turning people inward in the wrong way, in a way that's unconscious and unenlightened, and not necessarily serving the true place of expansion. The true place of cosmic expansion is there's enough for everybody. Even Mother Earth is saying, you have enough for everybody. Why aren't you just feeding each other? The universe is saying the same thing. There's enough love for everyone. Why aren't you just loving each other? That's the growth that we came here to understand. That's the growth that and the challenge that we have as conscious people. This is why we're here. This is why we've chosen this place and this time and this reality. If you're here, you're listening to this, you've chosen this time, 2018, moving into 2019, this place and time is your chosen spot to live and be part of the co-creative reality. And you have choices. You can come here and just say, well, I'm just a part of it. You can just tell yourself, I'm just a part of it, and I just have to follow whatever flow my path is there and deal with whatever human life brings me and whatever life brings me. Or you can ask yourself this beautiful and profound question. How can I bring even more of myself into this world? How can I bring even more of all this reality of that I am, all this co-creative possibility into everything I do, and show it to others and serve them so they can see me as an example of possibility for what that they can be, and for what that they can do, and for all that they can become. It's your choice. I'm trying to inspire today. I want you to have inspiration because that's what this show is for. You know, we're going to talk about what is a misfit, what is a person that doesn't belong. That whole energy around greed is, you know, a big question mark. It's huge. It's a huge question mark for me. It's a big, big statement. It really is. Why are we choosing greed? Because we don't think that there's enough. Why are we choosing greed and wanting to take from each other? Where did this come from? How come we don't understand there's enough for everybody? Where did this rise? To me, it's unconscious instinct. It's misunderstanding the instinctive drive that we have and the missing pieces of consciousness which say there's enough for everybody. We're tuned into the lower vibration of instinct, not the higher vibration of instinct. And that's the opportunity you have. That's the point of this show, you know, fitting in to yourself. You know, where do you not feel like you have permission? Where do you not feel like you are worthy enough to attain all that you are? Where is it that you don't feel like you fit? Where are you feeling like a misfit? A person who doesn't know where they belong, a person who doesn't know their possibilities, a person who may be suffering and saying to themselves, you know, I don't even think I have what it takes to do what I'm meant to do. I don't even think I'm allowed to. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I'm not okay. There's so many layers of feeling like a misfit. And then there's, you know, misfits who feel like they are meant to be so much, but don't know how to manifest that in this world. They don't know how to step into that place of showcasing who they are because they're uncomfortable. You know, I was like that. For sure, I was like that. I really didn't feel like I fit in. I really didn't feel like I had worth. I was taught that who I was wasn't okay through the example of rejection in my family life and in my life growing up. You know, did people mean to harm me? I don't know. But they certainly didn't take their responsibility for having a child. My parents absolutely didn't take their responsibility seriously, that they had a child. They had a little being that needed to understand who they were and what they are, and to cultivate and help me become that which I was here to do, you know? And many of you are experiencing that. And it doesn't matter whose fault it is or who's right and who's wrong about it. What matters most is you're responsible for what you do with your understanding of it and your interpretation of it. And you're responsible to rise and to become because you can. Not because you have to, because you can. Because your soul chose you to become something. That's a personal responsibility. It's a personal goal that your soul has directly related to you. And if you're stuck in the paradigm of your parents, if you're stuck in what you're looking around in the world, then you're not going to find your way. You've got to give yourself permission. And this is where being mystical and being a mystic comes in. How do you go from that misfit who doesn't feel like they belong into becoming that mystic, that transcendent being who knows there's so much more to them than just what they see in this world, that their unworthiness has nothing to do with who they're supposed to be. Who they're supposed to be is the higher vibration of their possibility, is to become that person who really steps into the authority of who they are. You know, I looked at the definitions of those two words before I started to, before I claimed and named the name of this show. And I want to read it to you because I think it's really important and possibly can be really helpful to you in understanding what your point is in this experience. A misfit is a person whose behavior or attitude sets them apart from others in an uncomfortable way. It's like, there's something about you that makes you feel like you don't belong, or there's something about you that makes other people feel like you don't belong. And how uncomfortable it is to feel like you don't have a place in this world. A mystic, a person who's transcended into their own mystical awe, their own shock and awe in this world. For me, being that mystic is you have connected to the spirit and the soul that you are. And you materialize your spiritual mystery and awe into the world. You become the fascination of your soul in this world. You become that transcendence of all that you are in this world, and you spread that out. And you share it with everybody that's around you. And you share it in a way that's congruent to your path in this life and what you're really meant to do. You're the higher octane. You're the higher vibration. That from misfit, I don't know where I belong, but I'm not going to give up on myself, into that mystic who is transcendent and clear that this is all that I'm meant to be, and I will not give up until I accomplish the all that I am in this world, and stepping into the true reality of that. And I know this is real because when I think of it and all the people that I've helped and all the times, I've done intuitive readings for people, these intuitive readings that are divinely guided. And I tell people things that, come out of nowhere, that come out of our connection and communicating with the divine world, and hearing who they're meant to be versus who they are, and helping them understand that this feeling of not belonging is not real. What is real is they have to transcend that energy and turn it into actionable items that lead them into their own awe and the expression of that in their everyday lives, and building that purpose-based lifestyle, that purpose-based experience that fulfills their heart fully and completely. And it's so interesting to me, and I'll give you a few examples of what I'm talking about, And there's so many beautiful leaders, and you'll notice some of the greatest spiritual leaders have had tragedy like you wouldn't believe in their lifetime, or they're dealing with tragedy and the true challenge that comes with a hard knocks life. There's so many. And then there's the leaders like Gandhi and Mother Teresa, and these people who were willing to face the darkness and look at the darkness straight in the face, the human darkness that we've created, and say, I see you, and I'm going to bring some light into where you are. Because if I shine the light on you, then you will see how dark it really is where you are. And let me help you get out of there and live out of that darkness and into the light. Masterful, masterful people who are willing to face these challenges, face these adversities, step into the mastery of all that they are. And you don't hear some of those people complaining, the great spiritual leaders that have walked through the path. You don't see them complaining about what they had to do. They felt fully fulfilled by their accomplishment of bringing the light to the darkness and living their purpose. And, in the sessions and the work that I do and in the interaction of my own life experience, there's something that happens when you get in alignment with all that you are. There's something deep that happens when you connect to your consciousness, that unstoppable consciousness that lives inside you, that soul-driven purpose. Something happens inside. Everything feels like it gets turned on. Even if it's a difficult challenge, what you're meant to do in this world, there's like a light that turns on inside of a person. There's a flare up of electricity. There's a current that starts to run through the body, and a certainty of what you're supposed to do that's impossible to miss. You can't help it but know that it's the truth. You can't help but know this is what you're meant to do. It feels so right. And every part of you fires off. And I want to teach you why. Why does every part of you fire off when you become aware of what it is that you're meant to do, and every time that you're meant to do it? And what does meant to do mean? Let me pull back. What does meant to do mean? Meant to do means the accomplishment you need to attain to rise into the next level of yourself and your life. And that will happen many times in your life. There is not a final destination. There is you choosing to consistently being enlightened and expansive in this world. And if you do choose that, to bring your conscious co-creative process and possibility into your everyday life, you will become the unstoppable. You will become a person who can't help it but continue to consciously grow more and more and more and more. So there is no landing point. There are destinations that you will hit, you will stop, you will pause, you will redefine, realign, and rise again. That's what true consciousness is. There is no limit to you and your possibility. So when I say meant to be, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this language that spiritual people use, which absolutely drives me crazy. Oh, well, I guess it was meant to be that this happened or that happened and everything is in atonement, so it must be real. But what they're really doing is just looking at some shit that happened in their life, and they're not rising above that shit. They're just accepting it as real and not taking full responsibility for the possibilities that are behind what just happened. What I'm talking about when I say what's meant to be in the moment is your attitude around it. Stepping into, yeah, maybe this was meant to be, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's a contrast, a challenge, a transformational possibility instead of me just surrendering into this, oh, it must be meant to be, and let me flow into the next thing that was meant to be. You will not have control of your life if you think this way. If you are that spiritual slug that just is saying everything is meant to be and you're not designing your life every single day and every single thing you do, you will just be a slave to whatever you are randomly creating every single day. If you rise into the place in your mind and step into another level of thinking and a higher level of thinking and say, everything is not happening at me, it's happening with me. Everything is not just meant to be. Maybe there's so much more in every story and every situation that I'm living. That's transcendence, because you will turn everything in your life into something possible. You will turn all challenges into possibility and potential. You will rise above situations and expand and accelerate your life path and your life experience. You will become that constant conscious co-creator. And I'll be so excited for you if you stop saying, oh, this is meant to be. No, what is meant to be is a reflection of where you need to go. What is meant to be is something else that's behind the scenes of that door. Step into it. Lean into these things you think are meant to be and really challenge yourself to think, is it really meant to be, or is there so much more behind that door that I don't see? Is it just a sign or a signal from the creator that I need to turn? I need to turn left, turn right, look more deeply into this scenario, see where I'm holding myself up, holding myself back, and step into getting the help I need, step into the possibility of my mind, opening myself up to thinking differently so that I can even take this experience and accelerate it 10 times faster and rise above it and beyond it so I see the next level of myself. That's what I mean by meant to be. So I truly hope if you're listening, you take my definition and you drop yours and stop using it as a lazy way of living and understand that everything you're living is a mirroring effect. It is a creation of yours. It is a possibility for you to expand your consciousness and morph into more every single day. This is very exciting for me, super exciting conversation for me. And I wish I was live right now because we would be having this conversation, but we will continue this conversation. We will continue this conversation. We certainly will. I hope you've enjoyed this show, and I really hope you take the nuggets of gold that are here and you understand that you're meant to be is so much more than what you're settling for. Open your spiritual mind to conscious possibility. Understand that becoming a mystic is a transcendence opportunity. It's a constant opportunity of more and more and more. Become the spiritual leader that you are, that soul-based guide. Become that. Become a person who brings light into your personal experiences and everyone you meet, that brings possibility and opportunity, that opens up more for others because you're opening up to yourself and the more that you are. Thank you so much for joining the show. I'm super excited that you were here and that you've listened and you shared and you were just listening to me right now, and I'm joining heart to heart. I want to just share one final thing before we go. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this one-on-one conversation with me, and looking forward to getting more and more engaged with you and serving you as much as I possibly can so that you become that incredible mystical being that you truly are synchronized to become. Becoming and being is what the show is about. So I want to talk to you about a quick product that that's going on this month. It's my yearly forecast. You can find them at lisa.najwa.com/2019-forecast-reading. And this is a reading to help you get in sync with all your potential. You are a creative being. You've been creating for the last year, which is leading to a destination. So 2019 has destinations, landing spots that I believe you can know about and be in tune with. This is what I do for my one-on-one clients. The cool thing about the forecast is it's a generalized downloadable breakdown. I channel this information for month by month possibilities of what you really need to know so that you can accelerate your success and become even more synchronized with what the possibilities are. The benefits of it, from what I'm told and what I've experienced with clients, is it helps to prevent problems and be in sync with life successes and life opportunities, along with helping you be aware of what you're creating that you don't want to create, so you can change it now so the future changes completely. The reason for these forecasts, the reason I made them, is that you have the ultimate choice and control over your life. And energy is always unfolding. And I know how to tune in with the vibration that is moving in the forward. And that's coming to pass based on what we create today. So I use my gift to serve my clients so that they can understand and get in tune with their possibilities by a month-by-month practical sense breakdown. You also get a numerological report depending on which one you like, which gives you the breakdown from a vibrational point of view numerologically on what's going on in your year. So month-by-month breakdown, also teaching you about your challenges. And the numbers report, it gives you your challenges, your personality. It gives you the definition of what your name vibration holds. It's an awesome report. It gives you, for those of you who take the full report, it gives you a breakdown of month by month. It gives you day by day vibrational possibilities. So between the two, you're going to be fully and completely ready for 2019. Please go check it out. Thank you so much for joining the show. I'm very, very delighted that you were with me. And thank you so much for honoring me and being here. And namaste to you. And we will see you next time. Bye for now.